Today we start another project. Yes, we're going to make this into something special. What is it? Stay tuned to find out. The owner of this wants this to be a, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What would you like to see this as? The owner wants to see this as a golf truck. Yes, G-U-F. G-U-L-F. So we got to repaint it, we got to strip it, we got to take it apart, all that good stuff. So, the next step, let's get this bad boy apart. Now on this particular casting, it has one post right there, two tabs on the back where it hooks. So it should be fairly straightforward. Alright, get that apart. Clean up any shavings that we see we might want to get rid of. Look how loose these are. Wow. Go ahead and take those out because I don't know if we're going to be reusing them or not, but we're going to take them out for now. Put that over in the base, in the container with the wheels. See what we got in here. Got the big interior. Wow. Which that'll be painted. The base will be painted. Luckily the glass just pops in and out. Now what about them doors? Okay. Base holds the doors in, so that's good news. So all we got to do now is drill this bad boy, put a screw in it. And we got plenty of room to drill and tap. Look at that post. I wish all cars were like that. So let's get it done. Now we're just going to square the edge up, because you can see how it kind of, when I was trying to get the rivet out, it kind of went off to the side just a hair. Didn't hurt anything. Didn't bust out the side, but still want that flat. Should go right in. And I know I don't have to worry about this not going in far enough. Alright, we got all that stuff. Into the North Carolina red clay she goes. You know, delivery trucks have to deliver in all kind of weather. Well, too bad they had to deliver in the rain this time. See you later. Alright, let's see how this looks. I got it all dried off now. What we're looking for is any casting lines or anything that needs to be corrected or sanded off or filed off. You know, we just want to give it a quick once over and see what we have. And after that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to take our brass brush and go over all the body lines and cracks and windows and door hinges, just anywhere where the stripper or paint residue could be left, inside, out, get it the best we can. And if we feel like we need to, we can come back with some steel wool and really make this bad boy shine. But you know, if you're not going to do spectra flame, then you can skip the steel wool and go straight to the sandpaper part, which is what we're going to do here. Now I'm going to look it over really good and see if there's any casting lines we need to get rid of. And right around the perimeter of this top, this roof line, there's a casting line. And I originally wasn't going to worry about it. I was just going to hit it with 320, but I decided at the last minute to hit it with the 80 grit. The 80 grit will take that off really nice because my finger just barely catches it, and we'll take that off just because you'll see it in the final paint job. And then I'll hit it with the 320, and what the 320 will do is, and as you can see right here, this is 320, it's not marked, but what the 320 will do, will scuff the vehicle up just enough to where the paint will stick to it really good. The primer will stick to it really good, but not be so rough that it shows through the primer. the primer will hide any and all scratches at that point. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to hit this up on the edges, and you can see how fast it is with the 80 grit, and I'll come out with 320 and do the whole body, and then we'll get her primed up. Alright, time to prime some of this stuff up. So what we're going to be using today is white Autoborn sealer, and the reason we're using white, it says reduce 10% white sealer. The reason we're going to be using white is because we want the colors to pop. We're going to be using an orange, we're going to be using a blue, so in a light blue, not a dark blue. So we want these colors to pop. If we put them over gray, that would make the colors look a little bit duller, a little bit flatter. And if we put them over black, that's going to make them look even that much more darker. And one of these days I'm going to show you side-by-side comparison on a white spoon, on a gray spoon, and on a black spoon. But for today, we're just going to use the white Autoborn sealer, like I said, because we're using light colors for the paint. I've already shook this up pretty good. I don't think we'll need any more than that after I add the sealer to it, the reducer to it. That should be plenty. Now we're just going to mix it up. And we'll just check it, We want it a little thicker than water, but we don't want it as thick as chocolate. They say the consistency of milk, but what is that? You just have to use your own judgment. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to mix this up, and if we think it's pretty good, you can tell by, when you tilt it over in the cup, it moves pretty quick. So I could actually add just a hair more paint to that and be just fine. But I don't want to add too much because I don't want to waste. So that should be just fine. We're going to mix this up real good. Let it set for a minute or two while we get everything set up, and then we'll get the painting. Alright, we got everything set up outside, so now we're going to add the paint, or sealer rather, and that should be enough to do 10 cars. But that's okay. That is okay. Put the cap on it because I'm going to be doing all kind of crazy stuff. Alright, let's see. Where's the base for this bad boy? Where is it? There it is. Now I always start with the base, and I get asked this a lot. Why do I start with the base? For the simple reason of, if my airbrush isn't going to perform right, I've got it too thick, I've got it too thin, it's not spraying right, just the color's wrong, whatever, I can stop with the base and, easily hide anything that I screw up on. Whereas if I do it on the body, I'm going to have to re-strip the body and resand the body, re-clean the body. And right now, just doing the base, I won't have to do that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here. I'm going to, you see me blow off the excess water because I was letting this air dry. That's what I was doing just now, blowing off the water. Now we're going to actually hit it and put on some sealer, and then we'll move on to the body. Now we're going to hit the body, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do it in light coats. And you just want to build it up because you have bare metal. You want to put a light coat on that gives the primer and the following coats of primer and the paint something to stick to. So you just want to hit it with light coats, and then you can come back and hit it with a wet coat or two, depending on however many you think you need. But just start light. Don't overdo it, because if you put it on too thick, you're going to cause runs, and the primer just isn't going to want to stick that good. And right now it looks gray, but trust me, it will turn out white. So we've got our orange paint mixed up, so let's get to this. It won't take much. I actually made way too much, but that's okay. We're going to hit it in light coats, very, very light coats, because we don't want this to run. So, that being said, let's get to it. Let that dry for just a minute, and then we'll hit it again. Because what it's going to do is it's going to get up against that edge of that tape and it's going to seal it. And then, see, look at that tape coming off there. And then, then we'll go back with a heavier coat, or the next coat, it won't allow it to run behind it. But I'm using acrylic paint for this stripe for the simple reason of the water cleanup. Because I know that I'm going to have to get up underneath that tape just a little bit. And if I get any overspray, water cleanup will make it really easy. And I can use my air to help dry it. Alright, got everything cleaned up. Now, I've been asked several times, when is the best time to take the tape off? And you will have to use your own judgment on that, based on your paints and your skill set and everything. But I have found that what works for me is right after cleaning my airbrush. That gives everything enough time to form an edge where I can handle it and pull everything off without messing anything up, hopefully. So just use your own judgment. That's just what I have found that works for me. Will it work for you? I have no idea. Hopefully this looks good. Then I can detail it, because I'm going to do the headlights and the brake lights and all that good stuff. So let's see how it looks. I'm very interested in seeing it. This is actually the third time I have painted this car, or this casting. The first time I tried brushing on the paint, that didn't work. The second time I taped it off and tried blowing it on with a rattle can, that didn't work. Because what happened was it got up under the tape, had a little bit of bleed through, which is fine. I mean, you know, you got to expect that. But I had a little bit of bleed through, and what happened was when I went to try to clean it off, it wouldn't clean off because it was rattle can. You can't do water cleanup with rattle can paint. So, and if I would have used lacquer thinner or something like that on there, then I would have been in a little bit of a mess, because that would have affected the undercoat too, the blue. So, you know, I couldn't use lacquer thinner. And I see one spot where it didn't get the orange. I might try to brush that on. I don't know. I haven't had much luck with brushing it on, but we'll see. I might give it a whirl. You know, you just, like I said, you have to use your own skill set, your own paints, your own life experiences to know. A good rule of thumb is whenever the paint dries, start with that. I mean, not when the paint dries, whenever you clean up your airbrush, if you're using an airbrush. Because if you're using rattle cans and trying to tape a line, what's going to happen is rattle cans dry so fast, the ingredients is put in them to help them dry and everything, they dry so fast that when you go to pull the tape off, it actually pulls the tape kind of like elastic, and it will not leave a clean line. It just will not do it. So, like I said, you have to use your own judgment and all that stuff. I wish I could give you a definitive answer that would work for everybody and help everybody, but that's just not the way this hobby works. Not that I wouldn't do it. And what I mean by the way it works is my paint is different from your paint. If you look, there's a little bit of orange right there, orange there, and orange inside the door jamb. Missed that spot there, and there's a little bit of orange on the outside. Come around to the other side, let's see what we got. That side looks pretty good. I need to clean up right there just a little bit on the front, and it did not get down in the tip. So I'll probably use my toothpick method, file it real small and dab it in there and just let it set real thin. Just dab it in, let it set and dry, and then clear coat the whole thing. I think it turned out amazingly good compared to the other ones that I have. Where's my Q-tips? Let me show you what I'm talking about cleanup. All it takes is just a little dab of water with acrylic paint, and see, it took that right off. I mean, right off. So you have to be very careful. I'll show you again when doing this. See that orange paint right there? Look at that. Take it right off. So if you're going to do that, be very, very careful, because you can actually take the paint off where you want the paint to stay. Look how good that looks now. And dab right there. I'll show you one more time right here on this headlight area. Alright, the third time was the charm, as they say. Look at that big boy now. I got the orange stripe on it. I detailed the brake lights, put some amber markers up top. I was going to do the little like bolt rivet heads around the brake lights, but I decided not to this time. And I was going to do that door handle in silver too, but I decided not to, because I mean typically it's going to be the body color. But I did do the tail lights, and I did do the hood emblem, the Divo. But while this is drying, I'm going to attempt to put the decals on there. And by now everybody must be wondering, what decals are we putting on this bad boy? Well, I'm glad you asked me. So let's show you. Golf. Now these are actually for a Datsun wagon, I believe. But it's the only ones where I could find the right size. Those of course are too small. That's just about right. I have some that are larger than this, like another half size larger, but those are just going to be too big. So that's what we're going to use. And they're going to go right there. Now the original Divo milk truck golf livery has a couple decals right there and a number on the door, but it also doesn't have this ridge. It's just flat all the way across. So what they did is they put a decal which had a number on it. So we're not going to do the number just because it's not flat, it's ridged. I could use the 0, but the original one is a number 58. And I'll try to remember to insert a picture so you can see. But we're not going after an exact replica. We're going after just a custom truck to go along with the Golf livery. That's what the person that owns this wanted, so that's what we're doing. So now we just got to cut out the decals. And I'm not going to worry about being exact, but I do want to get fairly close on the top and bottom, just because I don't know how much room I have. Now let's see what this is going to look like. It's going to go, oh yeah, that's perfect size. It's going to go something like that. Something like that indeed. Just going to use regular water. And just like that, she's ready to come off. Get it where we want it. Right there. That's exactly where I want it. And then I'm just going to kind of lightly dab it. to get it to stick. Then once it starts sticking, I can wick the water out. Alright, let's see if we can get this done. I had a little bit of fun with this because I posted different photos on Instagram during the build process, during the painting process, because I literally had to paint this car 3 times because of the stripe that was on the side of it. A lot of people guessed, great guesses, from taco truck to just all kind of stuff. But no, it's not a taco truck, and in fact, here's what it is. Turned out very, very nice, didn't it? Now you can see right there, the orange stripe is still not perfect, but from what it was to what it is now, night and day difference. I mean, I had the dangest time painting that stripe because it has ridges. It's not smooth. On the original Golf truck, it has a decal. It's actually got flat sides and everything. It doesn't have ridges. But I detailed it up. I did the headlights. I did the hood ornament. I put the decals on it, put the side stripe on the side of it. I did the brake lights, the light markers on top. Some work on the interior. I painted the whole thing orange, as you can see. Did the gauges, did the steering wheel, the milk cartons on the back. I started to paint the whole carton brown, but I decided just to do it like that and leave it like that, and swapped out the wheels. These are actually the wheels off the GNX car, the premium GNX car from the Boulevard series. He left it up to me on whether to keep the original ones on there, and I started to paint these orange, but that's a lot of orange right there, and it's got orange on the side. That's a lot of orange, so I wanted to break that orange up just a little bit. The owner of this vehicle leaves stuff like that up to me, just use my own judgment, so that's what I did. Like I said, I actually think that the gray wheels look better, and I ran it by him, and he said, yeah, he said, I think those look really good. So with all that stated, let's get this put together, shall we? Now we're ready for the screw. And I'm going to touch this screw up with some orange paint, that blue. I don't know, I might just leave it just like that. But I can see how this bad boy looks. I really like it. I would like to thank the owner of this vehicle for the opportunity to build this for him. I really enjoyed it, and I hope he enjoys it as much as I enjoyed doing it. And with that stated, it's time for the reveal. Hope everybody likes the video. Hope everybody likes how this car turned out. It was a lot of fun doing. Till next time, thanks for watching.